Well, for me, I immediately identify, like, I was aware of what I'm looking. Like, there's not, like, it's very clear and easy to understand.
Okay, what makes it clear or what makes it
Well, I mean, you have the map of the northern Mexico and then south of the US. You have, like, Mexico is black and white, as usual, and then no color. And then the US is colored. So, yeah.
And unlike some of the other ones, like the borders even of each state are like clearly delineated, like almost perfect lines. Like, and in the other ones, it was more like land.
And then red also seems very like,
and
but like blood.
Like targets.
You know, like targets, like these are the wrong regions. Like, I don't know.
Why did you say that Mexico's always black and white?
Well, because it's always black and white. Even when even like I get very upset with, and I do it myself too, when I'm talking about the border, I always talk about the US-Mexico border as opposed to the Mexico-US border. So you always put the US first. And you always put color when you talk about the US. The US is on top of Mexico. So I feel that we are conditioned that, like we're taught that way. And it always kind of bothers me, but I wasn't aware like until like now that I'm like studying the border and like I identify those things. Like if you show this to my mom wouldn't catch that, but because the more you study, like the more you're aware of these differences.
Does it also make sense based on like who made the map?
Yeah.
The perspective it has.
I mean, the Mexico if it's a map of the colonias in the US, why are they putting a big part of Mexico? Not that like I mean, like they could have zoomed in more because the places where there's more colonias, like you can't even read any of them because there's like so many together. So why didn't they just zoom in more on that so that you can see like individual colonias and be able to distinguish them rather than putting a bigger map and then lumping them all together where it's like, there's just a lot. You don't have to really identify them.
That's a good point. It's almost like they want Mexico to be there as the reason.
Yeah, because it's like, oh look, they're all right next to Mexico.
Yeah.
And you're focusing on the colonia, it's not a map of Mexico, it's a map of the colonia. So why aren't you like zooming in so that you can actually distinguish the different ones and the names? You can't even read most of the names. So I would think it would be better for the purpose that it's being made. It would be better if it was zoomed in so that you could distinguish where they are and what they are.
I think I probably wouldn't get rid of Mexico because I think it has to represent like the border, but I wouldn't have like those harshly delineated border lines to show the two sides. Maybe like some of the earlier maps where it was just like land and then map the colonias on them.
Yeah, or maybe like even add the name of the states that you're showing from Mexico as opposed to making this country very empty, you know, like it's like, oh, it's empty, like there's nothing here and this is where, you know, so just add something to it, like names or to get it, to make it weight a little bit more.
Texas.
I think the only like thing that really bothers me is the red color, because there are studies that say that people associate red with violence. So that to me, it's just what I find the most disturbing about this map.